How are you, Priyansha?
I'm good, sir. Thank you for asking.
You come from Agra
Yes, sir.
and you have appeared 4 times for civil services and 3 times for forest service.
Yes, sir. Sir, in fact, I have appeared this year as well for forest services, and this year I've cleared mains.
Why
as
you
well.
think you couldn't make it all this while?
Sir, there were shortcomings on my part, and the nature of the exam is such that I couldn't guarantee a win every time. So, I think I was pretty disciplined, but definitely there were improvements that could have been made in my previous attempts.
You are an engineer
Yes, sir.
and you want to do everything else other than engineering. You want to do civil services, you want to do forest services, but engineering you don't want to do. And that is after putting so much effort into one first qualifying for the engineering course and then passing it. Why is that?
Sir, I wouldn't say that I didn't want to do engineering. It was something that I wanted to pursue since my 10th standard. I was inclined towards sciences. But eventually I got an inclination towards social services as well. And that is why in my final year, even though I had a job offer, I decided to prepare for civil services.
You see, engineers build a country. Civil services merely maintain it, preserve it, isn't it?
No,
You would
sir.
rather be a builder than just a preserver?
Sir, definitely engineers are building the nation. There is no doubt in it. But implementation is as important as the planning of the project. So civil servants are equally important, and therefore I don't think that any.
What is in the civil services that appeals to you? That you try so many times to enter the civil services?
Sir, I think civil services will give me a platform to create a larger impact because of the position it provides, and it will help me learn from diverse sectors and develop a skill set that I think I don't even know I have.
You don't sound very convincing.
No, sir, I am convinced about joining the services.
Okay. You studied in the Guru Gobind Singh University in Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about Guru Gobind Singh, please.
So, Guru Gobind Singh is the 10th Sikh Guru, and he is the one who established Khalsa. And after him, he cited Guru Granth Sahib will be the next Guru, and he is said to be the last one.
What is Khalsa?
So, Khalsa is the military arm for the Sikhs who were established to protect the Sikh religion from the invaders, foreign invaders.
Okay, you belong to Agra.
Yes, sir.
Tell us something about the history of Agra.
Sir, Agra is said to have been established by Sikandar Lodi in 1504, but it gained more prominence under the Mughals. It was the Mughal capital. Akbar built the Agra fort, the Fatehpur Sikri. Thereafter, the prized jewel of Agra, that is the Taj Mahal, was built by Shah Jahan, and today it is famous.
Why did he build Fatehpur Sikri other than from Agra?
So Fatehpur Sikri was built as the new capital for the Mughal Empire by Akbar. Apart from Agra, it was a planned city, fortified.
And why was it abandoned then?
So Fatehpur Sikri was abandoned because of the water crisis it faced. It was majorly because it is on an elevated platform, and drawing water from the river, there was no direct river near Fatehpur Sikri, and drawing water became an issue. That's why it was abandoned later.
Let's come to current news. What is production linked incentive scheme?
So production linked incentive scheme has been introduced to boost the manufacturing capacity of India. It gives incentive after the production has been taken place. So instead it
Can you give details? What do you mean after production has taken place?
Sir, it means that instead of subsidizing any product before it is manufactured, in which case there may be leakage of subsidies, it reimburses after the manufacturing has been done. So this conforms with the WTO norms as well and makes us compliant.
Give some details. What do you mean after the manufacturing has taken place? Every time something is manufactured, they give an incentive?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not that.
Which industries are covered under it?
Sir, production link incentive is being given to a wide sector of industries, including but not exhaustive to medical devices, semiconductors, food processing as well. And that is all I can recall right now.
Has it proved to be successful so far? What are the results?
Sir, I'm not aware about this.
Not aware of results.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my last question to you is, why was J&K made into a union territory?
Sir, Article 370 was said to be a temporary provision, and that is why the current government made J&K into a union territory, so that it comes to the 370 can be that temporary provision can be removed.
That they need not have done it. 370 can be removed simply. It could have continued into a state. Where was the need to make it into union territory?
Sir, a union territory allows the center to control the affairs more closely than in a state because of the federal feature of the constitution. So because J&K is a sensitive state.
And then they can convert any state into a union territory? Center can? Bihar can be converted into union territory tomorrow?
Sir, I think that J&K was a special case, which is not the case with other.
What is so special about J&K?
Sir, there is a area that is occupied by Pakistan. It shares an international border, and there is high militancy and ground level terrorist activity by Pakistan that keeps on taking place, and that's why it becomes a very special case.
The local elected government could not have done anything about it?
So the local elected government has been doing, but the steps were not conclusively helping the people, and development was also slow, and terrorism has been a persistent issue. So that's why making it into a union territory could be decided.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Priyansha.
Yes, sir.
Priyansha, what is CSE? I just want, because I'm not very good with the abbreviations, so.
Sorry, sir, it's computer science engineering.
Computer science engineering.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There has been a lot of debate on data theft, data privacy, data use, etc. And there is a saying that the data is the new gold. What does all that mean?
Sir, because this is the era of fourth industrial revolution and everything is being digitalized, data becomes the new gold, because whoever controls the data will be able to analyze it, process it, and use it to their own benefit. That's why there is a concern about data localization, because if data is being stored in other nation servers.
How does it happen if the data would mostly be my Aadhaar card number, my PAN card number, if it is, personal data, a lot of data will be there basically. How will that those are things which are there for the record with the government in any case. Okay? So it's not something which can actually, if it is known to the other people, I need to share my Aadhaar card number, I need to share my PAN card number with the bank. When I'm making digital payments to my American Express bill, I need to give them my card number, but encryption ensures security. So how does just simply data being there in the open domain, how does it become data theft? How does it become really, a problem?
Uh,
That is my question.
Sir, whenever data is in the open domain, it is open for anyone to be accessed through any special. Even if we think about data being encrypted, the data on servers are not totally encrypted. Only the sensitive data is generally encrypted, and even then, the server can be accessed by the server provider. That is why today there is a demand for end-to-end encryption, so that my data is more secure, and in even the open domain it cannot be accessed by anyone. And because we are using identity numbers and identity sensitive data all over e-commerce, and so it becomes important to have sovereignty over that data, so that it can be used for the benefit of our own nation rather than and can be governed by our own policies.
You mean the government misusing personal data about me is okay, but other foreigner entities using the data is not okay. But the government of India, they can use it whichever way they want.
No, sir. I want to rephrase my statement that the government can regulate the data through requisite policies, so that my data is safe with the government and even when foreign entities are accessing it.
You can't control somebody from calling your mobile number 20 times in a day to sell a house or to sell your shares or for something or the other which you don't want. How can anybody control data then?
Sir, it cannot be controlled, but it can be regulated, and the misuse can be minimized if we have good laws and policies. For example, the new digital bill that the government is trying to push is bringing in more and more number of cyber.
What is the bill called?
Digital. Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall.
Data protection bill or data privacy bill. Oh, okay. Anyway, carry on.
Sir, actually, there is also a new bill that the government is pushing apart from the data privacy and protection bill, which is seeking to replace the IT 2000 Act. That is the bill I was referring to, because it encompasses number of cyber crimes which the previous bill couldn't deal with. So
cyber crime is a different thing than data protection or data regulation. I'll come to that in a minute.
Sure.
In that case, please tell me, the government is promoting digital platforms like anything. Everything has to be done on a digital platform, including filing your ITR, paying your taxes, your health checkups, everything is now digitalized. Is it not a contradiction? On the one hand, there is a danger of data theft and cyber security. On the other hand, the government practically compels you to do everything on digital platform, even if you don't have connectivity. Isn't that a contradiction?
Sir, because the future will be through digital platforms, holding us back from those digitization processes is not the answer. It is not a contradiction, because the solution lies in improving our regulation mechanisms and safeguarding the data rather than withholding us from a new revolution, that is the digital revolution.
All right. Tell me one thing more in the same connection of data or computer IT. What is cyber security?
Sir, cyber security is protecting our cyber physical systems, which includes computers, computer network devices, and the network on which data travels.
How many of the storage servers are located in India, and how many of them are abroad, including in China?
Sir, I'm not aware of the.
Just generally guess. Are they proportions, etc.? If there is a Chinese company trading with India, where do you think the server would be located?
Sir, because in the past we have not focused on servers and data localization. Currently, we don't have as many servers as we should have, because India is increasing more, has been increasing the number of mobile users and network users. So currently, there's a high probability that the server is on another country's land rather than on Indian
Okay.
land.
Just one, if you can give me a brief reply, because I need to go to the other office. What is the main problem, main issues in cyber security, and how do you think we can ensure the security of our own cyber network?
So, dealing with cyber security will require not just will require a multi-dimensional approach. The government will have to bring in policies and ensure that the servers and the networks are more secure, and there are deterrence mechanisms in place. Apart from that, the end users need to be educated more about the threats of cyber networks and cyber security issues that are always there, because most of the times we as end users are ignorant towards these threats.
We are forgetting how to actually prevent attacks, or how to handle threats, because that will take place in any case. But anyway, think about it. One last question. Afghanistan is one country where Taliban has seriously limited, in fact completely abrogated the rights of women, to the extent that they don't even have right to education now. On the other hand, India is trying to develop good ties with Taliban. Is that the right policy?
So, with all the major powers interacting with Taliban, India has not directly engaged, but whatever we do should focus on our own national interest, and because anything that happens in Afghanistan can have repercussions for India. So engaging with any power should be focused on what is in our best interest, rather than the previous stance of the red lines that we used to follow very stringently. So if India decides to engage with Taliban, definitely it would be on the lines of our own national interest.
So in that case, we should remove the red lines in talking to Pakistan.
Sorry sir, I couldn't get the last part.
I'm saying in that case, we should actually remove the red lines we have created in terms of talking to Pakistan.
Sir, with Pakistan, there is always an added element of Pakistan going back on its own promises and terms, and whenever the Pakistani leaders try to engage, the military and the deep state nature of Pakistan takes 2 steps back, and India will never breach those red lines as in case of Pakistan.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Priyansha, you like trekking.
Yes, sir.
So, where have you trekked?
Sir, my last trek was the Hamta Pass trek. It is in Himachal, and it starts from a place called Jibru beyond Manali, and it ends in the Lahaul and Spiti region across. So it is famous for the change in terrain and the picture scene.
Very good. So, when you are trekking, you trekked all alone or in a group or with just one more person?
Sir, I have trekked with groups.
A big group?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, when you are trekking in a group, what are the things you keep in mind? How do you prepare?
Sir, trekking requires a lot of cardiovascular strength, especially in the Himalayan region. So whenever I plan on a trek, I make sure that first of all my physical fitness is to the mark. So generally I follow a regime of 35 minutes.
Okay,
to be
fitness
done.
one.
Fitness. Then in a group there is always that strength that the group gives you when you are trekking, even if you are down. Then the equipment that you need to carry.
3.
4th, I would say listening to your trek leader is very important, so that
5. Okay.
and
Next.
responding to one's own body's need. If
6. Anything else? What about
sir, not keeping the nature as it is, the mountains and the
okay,
trails.
7.
Say,
What about keeping yourself aware of the weather condition? Isn't that very important?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now, tell me, who is your admired women leader? Any women leader you admire?
Sir, I think I have always heard from my father about Indra Nui since I was a little girl.
Okay.
And she was one corporate woman who was featured in Forbes that time, and she has always inspired me to become independent.
Right. Priyansha, you tell me, in our region, South Asia,
Yes.
we have had some very strong women leaders. Are you aware of their names, some of them?
Sir, firstly, I'll like to cite in India our Prime Minister, Miss Indira Gandhi, then our President, Pratibha Patil, and sir, in Myanmar, we had Ayun Si.
Aung San Suu Kyi.
I am not able to
Okay.
pronounce.
Okay. Who else?
So that is all I'm aware
What
of.
about Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan? Anyone comes to your mind?
Sorry, sir,
No.
I'm not aware.
Benazir Bhutto, she was Prime Minister.
Yes, sir.
Shrimabo Bandanaike in Sri Lanka, Begum Hasina Wajid. No, you haven't heard?
No, sir.
Much. But you know, many of these leaders, they have reached the top and they have been very strong leaders. But they have all come from a particular dynasty. That is the source of their power. Is that the reality of women leadership in our neighborhood and in India?
So for this, I'll cite that our president, she does not come from a dynasty.
Yes.
She comes from a very humble background.
Yes.
So I don't think it is true, but women have been oppressed for so long that when we have external support, we tend to rise much more. When our families and our friends support us, we shine much brighter. That's why it might be the case that these women come from dynasties.
Okay. So in India, you know, women participation is increasing. Are you aware of that in elections?
Yes,
They
sir.
come out in large number. But why is there representation in the House, in Parliament, in Assembly? Why is it not going up?
Sir, the representation is not going up because firstly the number of candidates that are women candidates are less. Then the data shows that male candidates tend to win because we often in India we think that politics is the job of
Okay,
a
do
man.
you really believe that winnability is a criteria? If women are given ticket from the party, they won't win? Do you really believe in that?
No, sir. I think when women come out and participate and they deliver more than men,
Okay.
so if women are given more candidates,
So you mean this is an excuse they are making? Is it an excuse that the political parties are making?
sir, I think political parties will always think about their own interests and how they can win more seats and more elections. And
Okay, last
whatever,
question. You tell me what can be done?
sir, there can be inter-party democracy first of all because that will bring in more women to the political arena. Then there can be reservation given to women in the party itself, the leadership position, so that they can work culture more them towards those leadership position and are more vocal about the issues. And thirdly, if we want to go a step beyond, we can give them reservation in the parliament itself.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, can I ask a question? How do you think the builder reservation cell? In that case, the political parties may choose somebody from within their ranks, like sarpanches. You know, in the villages, sarpanches ask their wife to be elected, but they work. Same thing can happen in parliament.
Sir, it can happen, but that is why I think firstly inter-party democracy and women in party should rise to the leadership position, which is not often the case, and it should be only the third step, because we can focus on the issue that we face in the panchayats as well, that the women positions are just manifestations and used by their husbands, but there are women who are doing excellent work even in the panchayat level, and there will be women, if we promote them, who will in the parliament will also function
All right.
towards
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Priyansha, you just told that there are women in panchayats who are doing excellent work.
Yes.
Now, in one such district, you are posted as district collector, right?
Yes.
And government has given you some funds. You have received some funds for making a village road in that village, a village road. You have earmark funds, that is called earmark funds. Now the panchayat people, that lady panchayat pradhan, along with her party member, entire panchayat and all members and all that, they have passed a resolution that we don't require a road, we require a pond over there. A pond has to be dug for drinking. The drinking water is a problem over there. Now you don't want to return that money or lapse that money. What you are going to do with it? What you will do? Because the panchayat resolution is for a pond and your money is for road.
Sir, because the money has been allocated to build a road, it cannot be diverted to build a pond. If the panchayat wants and the people of the village wants that there should be a pond, a separate procedure will have to be taken, and fresh funds will have to be earmarked for that pond, not the funds from the allocated towards building a road.
Will you take risk of allocating that fund for pond and tell them that okay, I'll make my administration, make my government understand, I'll make them okay, and you just spend the money for the pond. Will you do that?
Sir, I don't think it would be very wise of me if I do that, because administration should be done based on the rules and regulations, and if we start diverting funds towards other means and purposes and not for what they are allocated, it will set a bad precedent for me in future, and even for my subordinates, and the people of village may also not think it's right.
In one of your answers, you talked about Mughal period and all that.
Yes, sir.
Recent times, we are hearing a lot about this medieval history, this Mughal period, etc. What do you think that this medieval history, this Mughal period, it has been, people say that it has been glorified a lot in our history books, NCRT books and other books, this Mughal period. A lot of glorification is there. Do you subscribe to this view?
Sir, Mughal history has been an important part of Indian history, and whatever we read in our history textbooks, I think it's not glorification, it's the fact that Mughals have contributed a lot to enriching the culture of India. We owe architecture, major architectural monuments to them, we owe cuisines to them, so it's not glorification, it's manifestation of a reality that existed back then.
In some history books, in few history books, it is written that Alamgir means the king of the world, Aurangzeb. Whereas Shivaji, other people, they have been termed as luteras or some local chieftains or such type of things has been attributed to them. Do you think, is it good or it need to change?
Sir, I think history is very perspective driven, and It is how we take it. If we are saying Aurangzeb as Alamgir, it is how the Mughals have used those titles themselves. That is why it is being written. But it is not also right to underplay the Indian rulers. So if a correction can be made, then if it's necessary, it should be done.
Okay. In your hobbies, you have written that you run some ecological club.
Sir, I was a part of Eco Club in school.
What is eco club?
Sir, Eco Club in school was convened to create more awareness amongst the students, and then we used to take out drives and processions. For example, there was a drive to increase awareness about cleaning Yamuna river in Agra. Then there was a Swachhta Abhiyan where the school areas in Agra we marched and we cleaned our roads so that there was more awareness among students.
Okay.
And then there was the annual Van Mahotsav where you used to plant trees in our school campuses.
Okay. Do you have Yamuna in Agra?
Yes, sir.
And you have Yamuna in Delhi also?
Yes, sir.
So, is it more cleaner in Yamuna and Agra behind Taj Mahal, or it is cleaner here in Delhi? Where it is more clean?
Sir, I don't think it is clean at both the places. Before Delhi, it is comparatively cleaner.
Comparatively
but Delhi
cleaner.
adds to the pollution, and even Agra adds to a lot of pollution because of its industries and untreated waste that we.
So, what do you think? Why this North Indian, generally you will agree with me that the North Indian rivers, they are very dirty. They need cleaning in comparison to Southern rivers. Southern rivers, they are also not very clean, but in comparison to North, they are more or less clean. You can term them clean. Why these North Indian rivers are so unclean? Due to these industries and all that. You want to say that?
Yes, sir. I think North Indian rivers are more unclean because they firstly pass through a lot of states. They are large rivers, so the pollution keeps on getting added. Then the industries are not very regulated in the north, so whatever waste we generate, we dump without processing those waste. And thirdly, even the culture of North India, where we take baths and have fairs and melas around these rivers, adds to a lot of pollution, which we often tend to overlook.
So, do you think this Chhath Puja, lakhs and lakhs of people they assemble by the bank of rivers, Chhath Puja, do they contribute to the water pollution?
Sir, not to the extent that it is very concerning, because Chhath Puja or even any other fair has been traditionally been performed around the river fronts and banks. But I think when our rivers are already ailing, then it becomes an issue that we go and conduct our traditions in those rivers.
So, in your opinion, who is number one culprit in polluting these rivers? Number one culprit in polluting these rivers?
Sir, I think if I'll have to take one culprit specifically, then I think industries and untreated domestic waste that
untreated domestic waste and
industries that we don't treat and discharge in the rivers is the main culprit.
You talked about that you trekked from Manali to Rohtang Pass sort of thing, no? That, what is that?
So Hamta Pass.
Huh?
Hamta Pass.
Hamta Pass.
Yes, sir.
So there you came across with a place Koti Kanasar?
No, sir.
You did not come across with any place Koti Kanasar?
No, sir.
Okay. What is Rohtang Pass?
So Rohtang Pass is also a pass in Himachal Pradesh beyond Manali, and it is more than 12,000 feet, but I am not very sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you. We'll call you back.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.